2. So there's a term called disproportionation. What does it mean? Sometimes you might see this term in redox reaction question. So it means what? A reaction in which a substance is oxidized and reduced at the same time, giving two different products. So let's look at one example. Okay, so you see an equation here, hydrogen peroxide, okay, will decompose to give you water and oxygen gas. So the mole ratio will be 2 to 1. Okay, so let's write down the oxidation state for every element here. So hydrogen here in this case is always +1. So oxygen must be what to balance out? The whole thing is 0. So it will be -1. Move on, water, hydrogen is +1. In this case, it must be -2. And then of course, oxygen gas is the element, so it's 0. So if you compare, which element actually oxidize or reduce? So this one, oxygen, from -1 is reduced to -2. And then, but at the same time, oxygen from -1, it increased to 0. In this case, hydrogen peroxide is reduced as the oxidation number of oxygen decreases from what? -1 in H2O2 to -2 in H2O. Okay, but which one is oxidized? Same thing. Hydrogen peroxide is oxidized from -1 to 0 in O2, increases, so it's oxidized. So you'll say H2O2 is oxidized as the oxidation number of oxygen increases from -1 in H2O2 to 0 in O2. Okay, so this is an example of a disproportionation. Sodium hypochlorite solution, NaClO, is known as bleach. Okay, is commonly used as a disinfectant. When heated, okay, sodium hypochlorite will decompose to give you what? Sodium chlorate, okay, NaClO3 and NaCl. So now the question asks you to construct a balanced chemical equation. Okay, so this is your equation. 3 NaClO will give you what? NaClO3 plus NaCl. So basically, this is a decomposition reaction. It won't react with anything. So one substance will give you two products. So if you balance it carefully, it will be 3, 1, 2. If you need balancing equation video, just let me know that I'll make one for you. Alright, then next, let's try to write down the oxidation number for each element. So sodium in this case is Na +1, and then oxygen is always -2. So in this case, Cl must be what? To balance out everything. So it will be +1. Okay, so +2, -2, end up total 0. Same thing, sodium here is +1, oxygen is always -2. So here it is -6 +1. So Cl must be what? To balance out everything. It will be +5. Okay, and then Na here is +1, Cl here is -1. So if you see carefully, which one is oxidized or reduced? Cl is oxidized from +1 to +5. Okay, +1 increase to +5. And then at the same time, chlorine will go from +1 to -1 in NaCl. So there's a decrease, so it's reduced. Okay. Next, so question 1 is done. Let's look at part B. Explain in terms of oxidation state why the above reaction is a redox reaction. So this type of reaction, this type of question is common in exam. Okay, so basically they will force you to use oxidation state. So you must be very familiar. So you can use the template which I provide in the earlier video. So this is the one. NaClO, right, is oxidized. Okay, as what? The oxidation number of chlorine increases from +1 in NaClO to +5 in NaClO3. Okay, so that's how you write the question answer. Next one, what about reduction? So you will do the same reactant as well. NaClO is reduced as the oxidation number of chlorine, the element, okay, from +1 in NaClO to -1 in NaCl. Okay, so this is the way you answer the question. This is the template. Okay, the oxidation number of which element increases or decreases from what number in where to what number in where, in which compound. Okay. Next, let's look at question 2. Hydrogen peroxide has an interesting chemistry. Function both as a what? Oxidizing agent and a reducing agent in different solution. So let's look at reaction 1 first. Hydrogen peroxide is reduced to form H2O. So let's write the oxidation number for every element. Ki. Potassium here is an ion, so it's +1. Iodide must be -1 to balance out. Hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen is +1, and the oxygen will be -1 in this case. So just take note, oxygen usually will be -2. Okay, but in this case, it's quite unique, so it's -1. Next, sulfuric acid. Here, hydrogen is +1, oxygen is -2. So 4 of it, so it's -8. There's 2 hydrogen here, so it's +2. So overall, sulfur must be what? +6 to balance out everything. And then iodine is an element, it will be 0. Potassium is the ion, so it's +1. Oxygen is -2. Sulfur is +6. So you realize sulfur did not change at all. It's +6 to +6. Okay. And then of course your water, hydrogen is +1. Oxygen is -2. So if you compare carefully, which one actually oxidize? So if you see carefully, should be iodide. From -1, it oxidized to 0 in iodine. And then if you see carefully, which one is reduced is hydrogen peroxide. From -1, it decreased to -2. Okay, so usually it's a good practice to write down the arrow to know which compound actually oxidizes and which compound actually reduces. Okay, let's look at reaction 2. Hydrogen peroxide is oxidized to form O2. Okay, so let's write the oxidation number, same thing again. Potassium is +1, oxygen is -2, 4 of it, so it's -8. So manganese must be +7 to balance out everything. Hydrogen peroxide, +1, -1, same thing. Sulfuric acid is same thing, +1, oxygen is -2, sulfur is +6. Next, potassium sulfate, potassium here is +1, oxygen -2, sulfur is +6 as usual. Oxygen, gas, is an element, so it's 0. Manganese, if you reverse cross, right, manganese, you know, it will be +2. Okay, sulfate, okay, oxygen is -2, 4 of it is -8, so sulfur will be +6. Okay, so add up everything will become 0. Then water, same thing as usual, +1 and -2. So let's compare which one actually oxidize or reduce. Okay, so this one, hydrogen peroxide, the oxygen in hydrogen peroxide, from -1, it will increase to 0, oxygen gas. Okay, from -1 to 0, oxidize. And then which one is reduced? Is your manganese, potassium manganate. Okay, from +7, it will decrease all the way to +2. Okay, so this is how you write down the oxidation number for every element in the equation. Okay, and just take note to write the arrow. Okay, all right, look at the first question. Give the oxidation state of Mn, okay, in potassium manganate and manganate sulfate in reaction 2. So reaction 2 is here, so I just copy the equation for you. So this one will be +7, and then MnSO4 in this case will be +2. That's all. Okay, so usually your practice should be what? Write down the oxidation number for every element. Then when you solve the question, it will be much easier. You just copy and paste. Okay. Part D. Hence, explain whether reaction 2 is a redox reaction. Okay. So you have all the numbers, you have the arrow. Just basically write it in a sentence form. Okay. So H2O2 for this case is what? Oxidized, right? Okay. As the oxidation number of oxygen increases from what? -1 in H2O2 to 0 in O2, oxygen gas. So let me emphasize again, you are not required to write the 5 in front. The 5 is just for balancing equation. As far as redox is concerned, you do not need to write the 5 in front. Okay? In the answer, I mean. Okay. Next one. Which compound is reduced? KMnO4. Okay, is reduced as the oxidation number of which element? Mn. Okay, decreases from what? +7 in KMnO4 to +2 in MnSO4. Okay. So take note. So always remember to use this template when answering the question. And usually the question will ask you to explain in terms of oxidation state. Okay. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That's all. Bye.